the implication is that we were somehow holding back information, when in fact we were simply saying what we thought was right. And when elements of that turned out not to be true, we were the first people to say so. It was based on what we knew at the time.
Why were you holding back this information? Why was this email not turned over to the Congress? Why was it not released when you released all the other emails? This is directly relevant. Why did you hold it back?
John, again.
Why did it take a court case for you to release this email?
John, I can say it again and again, and I know you can keep asking again and again. This document was not about Benghazi.
All right, folks, welcome to Give Me Five. This is part two from the last hour. More of the Jonathan Karl and Jay Carney 8.5-minute back and forth battle, if you will, that took place at the White House in the press briefing room yesterday over the revelation of the email from Mr. Rhodes at the White House press office, who worked with the president, and saying that the goal when Susan Rice went out on the Sunday shows was that they don't look like Benghazi was a policy failure, and that the video was to be blamed. And it took a court battle, a FOIA request, Judicial Watch to get that email. And there's Jay Carney when asked why was this email not released before by the White House voluntarily. He said it wasn't about Benghazi. That email that, in my view, and in view of many others, specifically addresses the Benghazi situation, he says it was not about Benghazi. And we had the chief investigator for Judicial Watch exclusively on the show yesterday, and when he heard that, he called Jay Carney a liar. Now here's more, Jonathan Karl and Jay Carney.
It was her prep for the Sunday show.
It wasn't her only prep, John. She relied on for her answers on Benghazi on the document prepared by the CIA, as did members of Congress. The White House, rather, and others involved in her prep, said when it comes to Benghazi, there's been a document prepared by the IC so that everybody is working off the same information. Republicans in Congress, Democrats in Congress, administration officials. This is what we know and what we are able to say about Benghazi at this time, and that's what she got.
Now, it's been established, and at this point in this exchange, it had already been previously established by Jonathan Karl, that former CIA director, acting director at the time, Morell, testified before Congress a couple of weeks ago that the CIA did not ever tell anybody, Susan Rice or preparation for Susan Rice, that it had anything to do with the video. So when he says it wasn't just us prepping Susan Rice, and yet, yes, this email shows that the video was mentioned in this email that went to Carney and to Rice and others, but the CIA also had input. But the CIA testified they didn't include the video nonsense. There's no way to dig himself out of this hole. There really is not. Here's more.
You said at the podium last year that the talking points that Susan Rice used for those Sunday show appearances were a product of the intelligence community, that the White House and the State Department only changed one word. We now know, obviously we've known for some time, that is not true. Can you correct the record on that?
Well, John, for the last time, there were talking points prepared on Benghazi. There were talking points prepared on the overall matter, the overall dynamic in the Muslim world about protests. The White House had a role in that document, obviously, as this release makes clear, as the White House does every time a senior administration official appears on the Sunday shows.
All right, which led Jonathan Karl to say this.
You're not going to correct the record on them?
John, when it comes to correcting records, we could get into that. Yeah. And the fact is, those talking points were, as the deputy director of the CIA testified before Congress, as he has talked to the press about, on Benghazi, were created by the CIA. All right.
They were created by the CIA. Yet the CIA director at the time has testified that they were shocked when they heard Susan Rice blame it on a video. So who's lying? The CIA director under oath, or Jay Carney up there on the podium? The president, when he utters the words, we had nothing to do with it. The same guy who told you could keep your health care. You decide on the Steve Malzberg Show.